Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I always told you, before you want to do anyone's makeup, make sure you always clean the person's face. It's very important. Let's transform this damsel into this beautiful makeup look damsel. So if you're new to this channel, you're highly welcome. If you're an old subscriber, thanks for always showing up. Really, I know it's been a long while, but I've been going through a lot, but I'm back. I'm back with detailed, like this one, a very detailed makeup tutorial. So we're going to transform her into that look you earlier saw. And after cleaning up the face of your client or your face, depending on whose makeup you're doing, you apply your moisturizer like I'm doing right now. You make sure you massage it into the face very well. If you don't want to use your fingers, use a brush. Use a flat brush that can do the job very well. So after applying your moisturizer, you go in with your primer. You go in with your primer. There are different types of primers, The primers I'll bite my tongue. There are primers for oily skins. There are the ones for dry skin, and they're the one for neutral skin. So depending on the type of skin you are makeuping, you use the primer. There are really different types. Just do research and you're going to see. So I'm actually applying the primer. When you apply your primer, you use a fan and let all of those things you apply to dry or to get into the skin. So from there, you go in with your foundation. Sincerely, I do not have a foundation of her shade. So this is the foundation I had that goes a little bit towards her shade. Because if you look at it very well, you're going to see it's kind of the undertone of the foundation I'm using is whiter than her shade. But I had no choice. That's what I had at hand. I'm going to use it and bring it bring the shade back, her real shade, I'm bring her shades with the powders. So I'm actually using the V Beauty foundation here. That's a foundation that's a Nigerian brand foundation that I really recommend. I love using it. The only problem with it is that it dries fast. It's not the type of foundation that you apply and leave before you blend. No, when you apply it, you blend directly because it gets dry very fast, very easily. Another thing, when you are using your beauty blender or before using your beauty blender, make sure it is damp. What do I mean by damp? Make sure you wet your beauty blender. You understand? You use water, you wet your beauty blender, then you press the water out of the beauty blender to you press it well. See, when you press it, there's no drop coming out from the beauty blender. That's when you know the blender is ready to be used. Okay, that being said, after applying your foundation, I went in with my Kiko foundation for her contour. I used a darker shade, a one shade darker than her skin tone, but I'll really advise you to use half shade darker than your skin tone or your client's skin tone. So there's another technique I advise you to do when blending your contour. You see the beauty blender you use to blend the foundation. If you want to use the same beauty blender to blend your contour, you turn it. You don't use the same place you use to blend your foundation. You turn it and use the other place that has no material on it. You use it now to blend your contour. So going in now with my concealer, I use a Super Stay, Super Stay concealer. This concealer, so I'll advise you to buy it because for me it's very good. It's a good concealer. The only problem with this concealer too is it dries fast, so you don't apply it and leave it before you blend, the same as the foundation. So you immediately apply, you blend the way I'm doing. For your concealer, I will highly advise you to use another blender, not the same blender you use for the foundation and for your contour, sorry. But if you are using the same blender, if you don't have two blenders, if you're using the same blender, make sure you use a place that has no product. Okay, so you already know where to apply your concealer as I'm doing under your eyes, or on your forehead, middle of your nose, on your chin, and under your nose. That's where you apply your concealer and you blend. When you're blending, make sure you take your time and blend well. Makeup is all about blending. So make sure you take your time and you blend very well. So from there, I went in with my blush, with my cream blush from I bought a palette from Blossom Beauty. So there are different colors there. You choose any color of your choice and you apply it. I went in, I mixed the kind of reddish color and an orange color to have this color. So from there, now you go in with your setting powder. I use the Avu setting powder. I love that too because it has undertone. So I use the Avu setting powder and my poof. You see what I'm using to apply the powder is called a poof. So it's a kind of triangle, kind of, how will I say it? Anyways, it's called a poof. So that's what I'm using to apply my loose powder or setting powder. So you apply it everywhere you applied your concealer. I think that's easy to retain, right? As I earlier said, this is a very detailed video, very detailed. So if I really hope this video helps someone, and if it helps you, or if the video is helping you, please do not forget to leave a comment. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please, because you sharing is a great tool for me and for the person you're sharing to, especially if the person is interested in knowing makeup. If you're commenting, it shows that I'm not talking alone, someone is learning something, someone is learning something, because in the comment you could ask questions as well. You could tell the kind of videos you want me to do, like what do you want to learn in particular and all of that. So what you're seeing me doing right here is just blending the loose powder I used. After blending, I used the loose powder I used. Still with the Avu compact powder, I applied her tone, like her shade, to all of her face, but not too much. So going in with this palette, I used a kind of half shade darker than her shade to do her powder contour, to do her powder contour. That's what I'm doing now. You can see how I'm changing brushes. So this is the nose contour I'm doing right now. And blending. As I said, don't joke with your blending, because that is what gives you that flawless look, If you don't blend well, your makeup is going to be cracky. So make sure you blend very well. So this is me applying her shade on her whole face, and after that, with another brush, you see me applying a white shade under her eyes. Why that white shade? Because I want to go instead with the eye makeup. So any product I'm putting, like any eyeshadow I'm putting, if it falls off, it's going to fall on that white shade. It's not going to spoil the makeup. It will be easier for me to eliminate the fall offs on the white powder. I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah. So you apply your spray, you spray the face after that, so that every product you use has time to enter into the skin, So from there, we're going to to draw the brows. Before drawing your brows, what I'll always advise you is to really sharpen your pencil, your brown pencil. Let it be really sharp. It's going to make the work easy for you. So you already know how we do our brows. For the newcomers, you draw the first line down, the second line up, then you do your filling. But you don't start drawing right from the beginning. You start drawing from the middle of her eyebrows, exactly like I'm doing. Then you use your spoolie to make it look more natural. So we're going to do the other side together. So here you draw your first line, as I said, just like this. You draw. The second line, you draw. You see, we do not start from the beginning of her normal brows. So from there, you start doing your filling. You start filling up the brows. This is what I call fill up. Strokes till the end. It gives a natural look. It gives a more natural look. So that's exactly what we are doing here. I hope you're learning something. I hope this helps. So you use your spoolie. This brush is called a spoolie. From there, you're going with your concealer, and you conceal with a flat brush. There's a brush called a concealer brush. It's very flat. So you apply your concealer behind your hand or on the surface, and on a clean surface, of course. And then you use your concealer brush to apply your concealer. Like, you apply your concealer, a kind of lighter shade of concealer, just where I did. Then you take a concealer of her shade or a foundation of her shade and apply in front, just like you're seeing me doing. Then I actually brought it down to the eyelid because I could not find my eyeshadow base. So I used concealer as my eyeshadow base. So when you bring it down like this, you blend with your beauty blender, or you could blend with a fluffy brush. It all depends on you, right? So you blend. And then the upper part, you use the same shade, like her shade, not a lighter shade, her shade, to conceal the upper part of the brows. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it makes the work cleaner. It will not look like the brows are shining, or there's a shining line on the brows. No, it's just going to look natural because that's her color, that's her shade. So you use your beauty blender to blend it out, just like you saw me doing. So we're going to repeat the process on the other eye, so you're going to see better what I'm talking about. So going in now with our eyeshadow, I used a kind of a little bit dark color, a little bit brown, like a brown dark color, with a fluffy brush. I use a fluffy brush to blend it on the lid of her eye, as you're seeing me doing. I was going for a kind of pinkish look, like you saw the previous picture. Then I used my concealer with my finger. You understand? You see me using my finger, and I tap it on her eyelid, exactly where you saw me tapping in. Then with another applicator brush, because there's fluffy brush, there's applicator brush, there are different kind of brushes. So with an applicator brush, I went in with a pink shade that I was just putting it exactly where I tap the concealer. I was using a kind of pinkish color. Then I went back with that same brush. I didn't add any eyeshadow to the brush. The same eyeshadow that was already on it, I used it and just blend everything together. You see how she was happy, this girl. When I say makeup artists are kind of like, we listen to people's problem, we laugh with people, Anyways, I went in with my eyeliner. I don't know if you saw the technique I used there, but I'm going to explain the technique to you. But if you were actually focused on the video, then you must have seen what happened there. Anyways, fill in. So, that was done for that eye. On the other eye, this is what I did. Fill in. Be careful, then fill in. Where the technique comes is here. When I want to do the line, I asked her to open her eyes. Then I make a little line. So from that little line, I know how I'm bringing the line to join the little line, So when she opens her eye, it's kind of uniform. I don't know how to explain it better, but when she's going to open her eyes, you guys are going to see everything is kind of uniform. Her eyeliner is kind of uniform. You see how it connects to the waterline. That's exactly what we're looking for. So on the waterline, I'm going with my gel and a little brush, like a precise brush, and just apply it on her waterline so that her look, she can have a kind of piercing look. As you can see the difference on the two from both eyes. So we do it. You see that brush? Pay attention to the kind of brushes I'm using. So you do the same thing on the other eye. And that is it for the eye look. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? It is, right? You're going with your mascara. You see this mascara, this particular mascara, I always forget the name, but I recommend you this mascara because it has the lower applicator and the upper applicator. So sorry, I couldn't help, but I had to hold her eyes up to apply the mascara. Applying on the other side gives this is how I apply the lower lash. I ask her to look up and I apply the mascara on the lower lashes. So to apply it on the upper lashes, I ask her to look down, not to close her eyes, but to look down and let me control her eyes. So I take my finger and I bring her eyes up and apply the mascara. It's easier that way. That's the technique I use. So I go in now with my powder brush and I take a little bit of powder, not too much, because remember that a little is always enough. So I go in with my powder brush. I take a powder of her shade again, but this time around just a little, and apply it all over her face. So I go in now with my brush, kind of fluffy brush, to apply my blush. As you can see, the same colors of that I used for for the cream blush is the same colors I use for the powder blush. That is kind of reddish and an orange color. So from there I go in and tap so everything can blend together, so that you will not see some kind of lines, demarcations between all the products I'm using. So when I'm done with that, I go in with her mouth. What am I doing here? I line up her lips. It was very difficult for me here because she was talking and talking and talking. When you talk, your lips shake, your lips moves. So it was really hard for me, but I will tell her stop talking. She'll stop for 1 second and mean it 1 second and continue talking back. So it was hard for me, but thank God we did it. So I used you can use your brown pencil to do the lining. You can use your brown gel to do the lining. You can use, if you have a brown lipstick, you can use it too. But depending on the look you're going for with your mouth. You see how she's shaking. Oh my God. Anyways, what I was saying is depending on the look you're going in for, right? So I did line her mouth because she finally stood quiet. So it was great for me to work, but she started talking back. 1 second, I told you guys. So I blended it with the back of my brush, so that it won't give harsh lines. Blend. I used my concealer brush to correct the excesses, the ones that were where they were not supposed to be. And right here, I'm just correcting the mess, right? I'm just making it look perfect. So I always say concealer is like an eraser, Yeah, so you use concealer to erase whatever you don't want on the makeup you did. So I went in with this shade because her eyes were already pink. So I wanted a kind of nude mouth. Sorry, I wanted a kind of nude mouth. So I went in with this color that I really loved, and that she really loved her mouth too. The color I gave to her mouth, because look at that. Just look at that look. Look at that. At this point, I was doubting, should I just leave it matte or should I apply gloss? We tried debating about it, but at the end of the day, we decided, let's apply gloss to this so that it would look glossy, sexy. She was going for a birthday. So yeah, using concealer and my concealer brush to remove the excesses. So from there, I went now with my pencil, with my brown pencil, to define the lining. And that's what I'm doing right now. Look at this. So since we had decided to apply gloss, that is it I'm applying. See, never take your gloss and apply it directly on the client's mouth or even on your mouth after you have applied your lipstick of whatever color. Always use an applicator, either a brush, something, because if you apply it directly, it's going to dirty your your gloss. When I say dirty your gloss, I'm trying to say it's going to give another color to your gloss. You see, so if I apply the gloss on her mouth directly, the gloss is no longer going to be transparent, right? It's going to have the color that is on her mouth, and that's not what we want. So from there, I realized that the mascara under her eye lashes gummed on her face, right? So that's what I'm trying to remove here. There's another technique for this. You let it dry, then you use your spoolie to remove it. Like, you apply powder on your spoolie, then you use your spoolie and scratch it out. Then now you can blend a little bit of powder back on it, so it will just come back to normal. So that's what I'm doing here. Since I'd already applied a little bit of powder on the eye, on the part of her face where the mascara stained, I had to do it on the other side. It has to be even. So at this point in time, I was almost done applying my spray again. So from there, you let the spray dry, right? You let it dry using a fan or something. I had a big fan opposite us, so no need for a smaller fan. So right here, I'm applying my bronzer. Yeah, I'm applying my bronzer. Look at that glow. Can you see the glow is giving to her face? Look at that glow. But she could not stop talking. For one reason or the other, she could not just stop talking. So giving the glow to her face, the shine up to her face. Yeah. I will not say she was talking alone because we were actually having a conversation. That's what always happens with clients. Anyways, I had to spray her face with a lock-in spray. After I was done applying the bronzer, and that is what I'm doing right here. No, before applying the spray, I went again with my powder brush I did not apply any powder on it. I just went in with it like that. So I sprayed her face after she saw, and now this is me applying her lashes, her fake lashes. Yeah. So if you don't know how to apply lashes, just put it on the comment section. Like, we're going to do a detailed video on it, right? If you have watched this video till here, it means this video interests you and you're learning something. So please don't forget to subscribe. This is the final look from down to up. Don't you like it? I just reduced the light and that's what it gave. Thank you. Bye.